Good morning, everyone. Meteorologist Zach Batten for the Bell Park Weather Network, here to get you started on this Monday morning. We've got a fair bit to talk about, so let's go ahead and get started. Your headlines for the day, we're looking at snow showers through the day today for most of us. Northeast Ohio is a little bit different story as the lake effect snow machine really gets going. The entire region is looking at cold temperatures through the day, both today and tomorrow, and single-digit wind chills will be possible tonight, and especially tonight into Tuesday morning, as some extra cold air works in, and then we've got a nice breeze on top of that. So as of the time of this recording, we do have a few active alerts out there. We have winter weather advisory for Cuyahoga and Trumbull counties in northeast Ohio, and then we do have lake effect snow warnings for Lake, Geauga, and Ashtabula counties in northeast Ohio as well. We'll talk about a little bit more about that here shortly, but that kind of gives you an idea of where we're expecting still some snow that will cause issues, and then the really heavy lake effect stuff that we're going to be expecting. So let's go ahead and jump into some of the model data here. We're going to start off with temperatures this morning. You see everyone pretty much hanging out in the low 30s, a little bit warmer still across the lake, but for the most part, everyone hanging out in the low to mid 30s. As we move through the day, not much of an improvement, and even northwest Ohio might actually get a little bit cooler as the day goes on, as that colder air moves in. And it's that colder air mass that's moving in from the west that ultimately starts the lake effect snow machine. So keep that in mind. Those colder temperatures moving in, especially into this evening, are really going to get that lake effect snow machine cranking. The overnight hours, everyone's looking to dip into the 20s and probably the teens at some point. So it's going to be real cold Tuesday morning. And like I mentioned, add the wind chills to that, and we'll have some single-digit wind chills. And if we do get as cold as the low teens, as you kind of see in far west central Ohio and even back in there to Indiana, we might actually see some wind chills below zero. So that's not out of the question. So when you head out tomorrow morning, and of course we'll recap that with tomorrow's video, but you're going to want to make sure you're bundled up, start the car, do all that fun winter things, since we are approaching December now. As we go through the day Tuesday, temperatures improve a little bit, but it's still going to be fairly cold out there. So you're going to need to be bundled up if you have to spend any time outside, and make sure you can cover as much of your exposed skin as possible, just to avoid any issues there. So let's go ahead and jump on over to the radar here. We'll back this up to again this morning. And you can already see with a kind of westerly wind and what will ultimately turn into a west-northwest wind, you can already see kind of the snow piled up there against the lake. That's nothing yet though. As we move through the day with that cooler air working in from the west, you can really see the lake effect snow bands off of Lake Michigan there, and then ultimately the same thing's essentially going to happen over Lake Erie, where you have the west wind kind of blowing your lake effect snow this way, and then ultimately at some point we transition to a bit of a west-northwest wind, which allows those snow totals here in northeast Ohio to really pick up. So as we go through the day today, you see that lake effect snow is really cranking, and there's going to be some really heavy bands out there, and there's probably going to be some fairly impressive snow totals, even along the lake shore, where now the temperatures have cooled. The lake has cooled a little bit. The lake, whereas the last lake effect snow we had, the lake shore didn't really get too much. This time it's, I think, going to be a different story. But you can see, as the event starts, you have a very west to east snow band. So that's where, this northeast Ohio and into Pennsylvania here is really, really getting hammered. As you can tell, as we move into Tuesday morning, those bands take on a bit more northwest to southeast component, and that's as the wind switches from west to west-northwest. So that's going to allow some of the areas in here a little bit deeper into Ohio to pick up some snow as well. And it wouldn't be totally surprising if we see some of these lake effect snow bands from Lake Michigan make it into our northeast Indiana counties and probably into our northwest Ohio counties, though not expecting much in the way of accumulation there. But something to keep in mind if you have to be out and you get caught in a heavy snow band, visibility can drop fairly quickly. As we go through the day on Tuesday, that lake effect snow still just cranking. So this is going to be a fairly long duration event. We're talking, Monday afternoon through about Wednesday morning. So plenty of time for that snow to accumulate. It's definitely going to be something to really keep an eye on. Looking at our team's thoughts on snow totals, Northeast Ohio, again, ultimately it depends on where the heaviest snow band's set up, but we're looking at a pretty good shot for a foot or more in some spots in Northeast Ohio, with, of course, outside of those heaviest bands, you're still likely going to see, 8 inches to a foot. And then, as you get a little bit further to the west and further away from the lake, those totals gradually go down. But there's definitely, some spots where we could see upwards of, 13, 14, even 15 inches, maybe even more in some spots. If you get under one of those really heavy bands that are dropping, 1 to 2 inches an hour, you get under that for 4, 5, 6 hours, and that adds a real quick burst there before winds, change directions, the band drifts a little bit, whatever the case may be. But definitely expecting some pretty hefty totals there into Northeast Ohio. So it's going to be really important that as you're out and driving, you slow down. It's going to be cold enough, the roads are probably going to be a problem, especially where we get the heaviest snow. So you're going to want to slow down, pay attention. You'll leave plenty of space between you and the car in front of you, and just practice safe driving. We don't want to see any accidents, especially, pileups, anything like we had last year. We really want to see everybody just take it slow, give yourself plenty of time, don't be rushing around, and just drive smart out there. So with that, I want to go ahead and advertise our app here real quick for a second, for a couple reasons. In particular, this will allow you to see several different things. You'll be able to, obviously, have radar. You can track the snow. You can see where the lake effect bands are setting up. You can also see, how much snow is expected to fall. You can take a look at temperatures. You can take a look at the wind, so you can kind of get an idea of exactly, how cold the wind chills might be, things like that. But for those of you in Northeast Ohio, the road conditions are going to be actually fairly important, and it'll be important for everyone as we go through the winter. The road conditions are going to give you a good idea of where the heaviest snow is probably falling, because the road conditions are going to be worse than they would be elsewhere. But it's also going to be a good indication of, do you need to leave a little bit early? Are things still okay? Whatever the case may be. So definitely check out our app. It's free. A lot of good information that you can get from that. So something to keep in mind, something to take with you, and you can just kind of check throughout the day. And with that, I hope everybody has a great Monday. We'll see you again, maybe Monday evening for an update video on, the lake effect snow and how it's going. But then otherwise, we'll see you again Tuesday morning with an update. We'll take a look at some snow totals at the time of, that recording. And then we will take a look at your, the rest of your Tuesday and the rest of your week. So I hope you all have a great Monday, and I will see you tomorrow.